Christian Bale is a master at transforming himself.
There is an idea of a Patrick Bateman.
George, I'm the CEO.
The actor changes so much that it's hard to keep track of how he looks in real life. One of the star's most stunning transformations was becoming Trevor Resnick in The Machinist. His thin frame gifted the thriller with such a level of realism that it's gone down as one of the most impressive changes in film history.
Hey, perfect fit.
Today we'll explore what Bale did to give life to Trevor, from eating less than 200 calories a day to reading for 10 hours straight. The transformation that shocked the world, the change that looked like CGI. How did Christian Bale do it? And did he take the challenge too far? Let's begin with the most obvious, Christian Bale's weight. To become Resnick, Bale had to drop 60 pounds in 4 months. The actor, who had just finished American Psycho, subsided on an extremely low-calorie diet during pre-production, consuming less than 200 calories daily. He was down to eating 1 apple and 1 tin of tuna per day, plus water and black coffee.
Watching this man walk around 120 pounds, not eating for weeks, I just didn't think it was possible.
I didn't eat. That was it.
To survive for months with just an apple and tuna does seem impossible, and that's what created such a buzz around this diet.
Today I'm gonna do a machinist diet.
I challenged myself to follow the diet that he was on for the next 3 days.
I'm gonna be doing the machinist diet.
It was so insane, it started an internet trend, with fans trying the food regimen themselves, which can be dangerous and not something that we recommend. But for Bale, searching for the skeleton frame was more than just looking the part. It was also about feeling the part.
I have to do the part justice, and it's essential that the guy be incredibly gaunt, that he looks very sick, he looks very pale, as though he's headed to, the executioners or something, and that he's really not taking care of himself at all, and that he's literally being eaten away by guilt.
When Bale says being eaten away by guilt, it becomes clear that for him, the physical transformation was a way to transport himself psychologically.
Denying yourself food really kind of puts you in a bizarre mental state. And that's exactly where I'm going to be, So it's actually been very helpful for, my performance.
The state of constant hunger and the overwhelming weakness affected Bale's way of thinking. A bizarre mental state is precisely where Trevor Resnick is. If you haven't seen the movie, the protagonist is going through such internal turmoil that everyone around him is disturbed by his demeanor and self-destruction.
If you were any thinner, you wouldn't exist.
A state of mind transpiring desperation. Resnick is starving himself of food and life. It's not easy to get into this mindset, which is why Bale saw his process as a conquest.
It feels great. It feels like a kind of a victory because I did kind of just emaciate and destroy myself, and to the point where I kind of just watching me run is a joke because I just have no leg muscles or anything.
A victory in excelling in his performance, undoubtedly. But what's the price to pay for stressing your body this amount? Did Bale respect his limits? In the script, Trevor Resnick always had 120 pounds, but the character was originally written to be shorter than Christian Bale, who's 6 feet, and 120 pounds looks very different on someone so tall. Bale got so obsessed with slimming down that even after he achieved the goal, he wanted to keep going, leading the producers to intervene. In 2020, Brad Nash wrote for GQ, and incredibly, the 54-kilogram final weight Bale eventually reached reportedly wasn't enough for him. Bale wanted to cut down to a mere 45 kilograms. However, the film's producers stopped him for health reasons. Wanting to drop more pounds than necessary wasn't the only unhealthy idea Bale had during this process. One of the tricks the English actor used to keep his mind away from food was resorting to questionable habits. He said to the Men's Journal, "I came up with the absolutely brilliant method of just smoking cigarettes and drinking whiskey to lose weight," Bale said. Bale was ready to go all in, risking his well-being to get closer to the character he was giving life to, and it altered him in ways he couldn't imagine.
The main point was that somehow losing all the physical weight put all the energy into my brain, and so I only slept 2 hours a night, and all I wanted to do was read. And so I would just sit and read endlessly, and I found that I could read without stopping and needing to move or get a distraction. I could just sit and read for 10 hours straight without moving a muscle. Yeah, I can't do that now.
Bale was 29 years old in 2003 when The Machinist was filmed. But time has passed, and now older, he changed his mind about sacrificing his health to that extent. In an interview with E! News on the premiere of Ford vs. Ferrari, Bale said, "I've become a little more boring now, because I'm older and feel like if I keep doing what I've done in the past, I'm going to die. So I'd prefer not to die," Bale explained with a laugh. Bale always admired people who could go the extra mile to achieve success, and his goal was to lose himself in the process of finding the character, in a way, to become unrecognizable. When Bale accepted the role of Trevor Resnick, he was coming from a place of dissatisfaction with his previous performances, which from where we're standing doesn't make any sense. But that's why he's so good at what he does.
I'd come off of making a couple of films that I'd been less than satisfied with, and just really wanted something where I could become immersed and obsessed with it. You know, I mean, I remember at the time it was like not the smart thing to do because there was no money in it, and it was like, oh, bloody hell, I'm going to lose my place where I'm living, and I was quite newly married and all that. So it wasn't the business smart thing to do, but I've never been smart in a business way.
Playing Trevor wasn't a business decision. It was a personal one. Christian Bale wanted to see how far he could go.
But it was something that I really wanted to challenge myself and kind of see, could I achieve that? Could I fulfill how I imagined the part of Trevor should be played? You know, and testing myself.
It's indeed impressive the amount of willpower needed to change that much, to a point where you kind of become someone else.
It is quite nice when you do not to instantly recognize yourself there. It's just good to get rid of yourself in order to play the role.
With a journey like that, it's no surprise that Christian Bale is one of the greats. He's ready to immerse himself in character, study a new reality, transform, and adapt. He's willing to do anything in his power to distance himself from what makes him who he is and act from the point of view of someone else, the character he's creating.
And the whole point with every film is not behaving the way that people expect you to behave. So in that respect, it's a very good way of putting it, like it's a waking dream. Yeah, you're there, you're walking around, but you're trying to keep yourself in this different headspace, not jumping back into the patterns that make me, you know, of actually finding other patterns so that you can portray someone else.
It's such an interesting concept, the idea of being two people at once. Struggling not to fall into your old self is every actor's challenge when playing a part, splitting your mind in two and letting someone else take charge in navigating the world.
You've got to just say to yourself, do I think it's good? Do I think I've done a good job on this? And that's it. And that I get my satisfaction from working on it right here, right now.
How far do you think you could distance yourself from your mind to become a new character? Let us know in the comments down below.
I admire immersion very much. But I'm not going to take that to stupid lengths. I'm not going to do it for the sake of it. It's only worth it if it's for telling a really great story.